Guys, it's MJ. How are you? Today I want to talk about beyond spirituality, practical action for social change, and what the movements and developments that have happened in my own life. Somebody who's always been passionate about compassion and ending suffering and ending painful patterns for humanity and all of that kind of stuff, and working through a lot of deep energetic work and transformational work and kind of popping out the other side. I've been using this expression quite a lot when it comes to like how we dabble in what we call spiritual communities or conscious communities. We go down the rabbit hole after we have awakenings. We're living in this age of information. There's just infinite information all around us everywhere, and what the frick are we doing with it all? So we often find ourselves drawn into spiritual practices because mainstream education, mainstream media, mainstream healthcare isn't working for us. So somehow we end up doing meditation and mindfulness and learning about ancient spiritual practices that help us yoke our connection to infinity, and yoke our connection to our universal consciousness, which helps us as earthly beings. Our universal consciousness actually helps us to live more vibrant, more radiant, and healthier lives, clearer lives. The paradox about all this is that it doesn't necessarily look like anything. Hence, you pop out the other side of a spiritual community because you kind of get tired of being told how to be spiritual. And then you're just you. You're just this authentic person having a life experience, and your whole world is just reflecting back to you that life experience, and you're constantly kind of tweaking and moving bits around, but not doing it out there. You're not doing it from a place of trying to mechanically control your circumstantial reality. You're doing it from an inner awareness that you are your external reality. So if there's little bits that aren't really working, you have to face that, transform the energy, i.e. the emotion behind it, and then be really diligent with transforming your thought flow as well as you transform your emotional flow, and then the lower ones, as in usually, and then miraculously your life transforms, miraculously your life changes, and miraculously in such a way that you do have to choose. Though you do have to make a conscious choice to love your life, to love yourself, to love your body. You do have to make a conscious choice to love what you are. That to me is a big piece of spirituality. You love the totality of your beingness because you recognize that you are one with Creator, you're one with God, you're one with all that God has ever created, which is everything that you see, because you are that. And when you're going from thinking the world is completely separate from you, or that you are a victim of the world, or that you have to control the world, it's quite a journey to go from that stressy, fear, covered up in lots of masks, afraid to reveal the mask, like don't even know I'm afraid human, but just, right? To go from there to this fluid, in the moment, kind of drifting in the void of unknown, but allowing things to drop in, that it's a radically different, i.e. it's been a 15-year journey for me to really know the difference between that and this, because now I'm here. And I was saying to a group of women healers and leaders, I was like, yeah, I definitely have no sense of time anymore. My reality just feels like I hit little light points. Like I have ding, and then something, and now I'm here, and now I'm here. It's like when you look up at the sky, at the night sky, and you just have all the stars. That's like how I feel the time is, that I'm just like making a pattern in the stars, and I'm hitting that and that and that. And I'm tracing a new pattern. That's part of this different perspective, is that by the time I got to my like 30th birthday, I was really tired of certain patterns in my life. 6 years later, patterns I didn't even realize I was in, and now I can see, and I'm like, bah! I definitely don't want those patterns anymore. So own, transform, let go, forgive, and then like what's new. And so a big reveal, big changes for me in Ulta Love again of hustle. I'm getting my hustle back. Guys. So going to the cities, actually putting myself back in that denser environment, because I feel supported with the light vibration, and I feel responsible enough to not get sucked back into certain human collective energy fields that don't align with Ulta Love, but rather be powerful enough to extend the Ulta Love, fearless love vibration, and help sway a mass collective. So let's see how that goes. If you guys are in the London area or the southeast of the UK, then get in touch. If you're in the southwest, get in touch. Mainly the south, but yeah, the wings are sort of starting to spread out a little, and it's all perfectly aligned and perfect timing, because I there's no way in hell my head could have figured this out. When I look at like the last 2 or 3 years, like there's just no way that my logical mind would be like, yes, then like that's part of surrender. That's part of risking it all and letting it all go, is that like when I took that leap, what people, when that quantum leap, when I took the actual leap, I didn't even know I was going to end up writing a book. When I booked my ticket to Bali, I didn't even realize I was going to be writing a book in Bali. So everything has changed. I'm still in mega love vibration. I literally feel like I've been reborn because I've been cracked open in a brutal way. That's part of sharing with you guys the journey of owning and transforming your emotions, is that there's no escaping. There's no escaping your own fucking truth, man. You can keep trying, but it's only going to loop you back into kind of distorted, shitty patterns. You're only going to be left feeling like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, because the truth is inside of you. But you need to feel. And we've lived under a veil on this earth plane as humans for a really, really, really long time. So we have a little bit of unraveling. I call it the karmic backlog in my book. So the karmic backlog is why it could happen, but I have yet to see someone go through one emotional storm and then be like, I'm done. Perfectly healed. No more bullshit in me. No. Normally we keep storming, and we keep facing fears, and we keep getting challenged, and every storm just makes it easier to sit in the storm. Every storm. And like legit straight up, I'm now just like a whole lot better at holding space for the depth of me. And I'm very aware, and again, this is in just generally people, it's kind of scary. People are like, yeah, I know there's emotion there. I just don't want to deal with it. I don't want to have to feel it. Because it's not just like, it's shades, it's shadows, it's ickiness, it's stickiness, it's density. It's like, just think of like the spectrum of hell and heaven. And that is the thick disparity of what all of us carry for the most part. So for us as a human collective to almost like just drop the idea of hell and work with just a kind of a smoother polarity. So hell is like, we're all evil and bad, and then heaven is we're all saintly and good. Can we actually expand beyond that story and just come to a whole new level of creation, where the density gets dropped because we've healed a core wound, and then we just vibrate on a higher level. It's not that we don't have emotions anymore. It's that we're not unclear with how we create, so we embody our emotional field, don't distort the energy to create chaos outside of us. Do you guys get the juice? Do you guys get this? That you are that which you create? That everything, like, this is like the weird fucked upness when people, like, when people stop communicating, is that you're just projecting out your own, So I'm like, oh, wow. I wish we could all just like sit down and have a big family group hug. I wish the whole world could just sit down, turn the lights off, turn the machines off, and like, yeah, have a group hug and just kind of be like, hey guys, what are we doing? Should we clean our oceans? Should we make sure everybody's fed? Should we try to eat just what the earth grows for us? Should we have a good cry and realize that we're all a little bit fucked up? And then regroup. And then be like, okay, so we're all in this together. One people, one planet, with lots of spectrum and diversity and difference. And figure out how to live in greater harmony, how to live in greater abundance. Because we're infinite, guys. Like, it's just the legit truth. We're actually infinite, eternal beings. So playing this game of like, it's just how it is. War, scary, fear, like telling that story is all that I've kind of been like, I don't want to tell a story anymore. I want to tell a story of people changing and people loving each other and people showing up for each other and us really, truly wanting to take action. So that's a big piece. My action is that I'm going to start to be descending onto the Yoga Brighton scene and going to rallies for vegans and just joining in the kind of active campaigning for change. Setting up tops, starting the conversation, just about whatever is on my mind, basically, and then whatever else is floating around in the collective. Definitely talking about the new paradigm sexuality piece, how to empower that for women, because I'm a woman, but I really want to have the conversation with men as well, and not just so-called spiritual men, just men generally who are open to having a conversation, because they're also maybe a bit confused about what the fuck is going on with sex and with women and with the world right now, because really, like, there's a lot of people just going through the motions of life, but I don't know that a lot of people actually know what they're doing or what direction they're going, or that there's all these problems and like, what are we supposed to do about it, right? So there are things that we can do about it. We just need to be willing to face the fact that changes do need to happen. That's kind of it, you know? Change is the only constant, and yet we seem to be perpetuating the story that things never change. You know, like, why is there war after war after war? It's just the way it is. Why is that the way it is? Who says that's how it has to be on this planet? We get to choose. You get to choose. So as next generation, what are we going to choose? Are we going to choose to start taking action and cleaning up the oceans and feeding the hungry mouths and rebuilding our education system and pioneering a new sort of healthcare system which clearly blends and merges modern and ancient, right? It blends all therapy to lift us to a point where hopefully we just don't live in such a sick culture, right? That our healthcare system is revolutionized because we revolutionized